Okay. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for the people who came on here and joined with me tonight so I can do this quick live. This is not going to be anything long and drawn out because I'm still celebrating my birthday. And actually, I'm going to be celebrating for the next couple of days after that. So I just want to make you guys aware. I'm having a really good time on my birthday. And I'm also doing the Angelic Mushroom Beach Retreat, which is really nice. And today we just completed day two, which got done kind of early in the day. So it gave me the ability to chill out for the rest of the day. Um, so what do I want to talk to you guys about? Okay. I want you guys to really understand that you really do have the ability to really create the life that you want. I didn't fully have a full understanding about what that meant until I truly understood what it means to co-create with source. And I want to let you guys know that every single last one of you have the ability to co-create with source. A lot of times what's happening is you're co-creating with source and you don't even realize that you're co-creating with source because most of you disconnect source as if it's something that's not you, when in fact you are source. Okay? So I want to point out a couple things that hit me. Ooh, it hit me. It just for some reason I just see it differently now. It's like one thing to hear it and you may have one perspective in seeing things a certain way. Then all of a sudden you hear it again later. And then all of a sudden you have a whole different perspective about what you heard the first time. I'm pretty sure you guys have had, those experiences or that aha moment. And so what the aha moment for me was the fact that for so long I knew that I was a part of source, but I never really looked at myself as source, right? And so I am subconsciously co-creating with source, and I'm not even aware that's what I'm doing because I'd never really just looked at myself as just source. Now, that being said, I want you guys to think about all the experiences that you've had in your life up to this point. I really want you to take some time and really think about that, put some thought into it. Some of you may have created the life that you've always wanted. Some of you may not be satisfied with the life that you currently have. Some of you are still striving for more. Some of you guys are don't even know what you want. I want to say this to you because you are source. You can literally speak out loud and say to source, I want to co-create with you and I want to create this experience for myself. If you want to experience what it's like to be wealthy, if you want to experience what it's like to whatever it is, happiness, love, family, children, anything that you can think of, whatever your heart's desire is. You can literally have a conversation with Source and say, Source, I would like to co-create with you so I can have this experience. Now, many of you do not know that you've done this already before. You just don't remember doing it. But you've done this before a long time ago, depending on how old you are, how ancient you are. You've done this already. And most of you don't even realize that the life that you're currently living right now is something that you contracted with Source about a long time ago. And you yourself actually created the mazes and the experiences for yourself to go through. Maybe your agenda was to heal, to balance yourself out. Maybe your agenda was something else. Who knows? But I would kind of want you to take the time out to think about how many times you've noticed you've been learning a lot of life lessons, and that should give you an indicator of probably what you set out to co-create with Source about. It's something that came to me as I had come to the conclusion of my own experiences and come to the conclusion that I created pretty much every single thing and every single maze and every single experience that I've ever had in this life, whether it's trauma, whether it's happiness, whatever it is. I came to that conclusion very clearly, that I was actually the one that created this a long time ago because I actually wanted to heal and balance myself out in this lifetime. So I actually made a contract with Source to do so. And so from the time that I came in, walked in at 7 years old, I began to start having these experiences where I was constantly, when I reflect back on it now, because it ain't fun when you're going through some shit. Ain't no fun in that. But when you reflect back on your experiences, you begin to start seeing a pattern of growth. Think about what each of your experiences has taught you, whatever these experiences are that you had in your life. What did they teach you? What did you learn from them? Did you even take the time out to even ask yourself that? And if you haven't, perhaps maybe you should, to kind of give you some insight as to what you may have agreed to prior to coming into this lifetime. My mission was to come here and to heal others. That is my life mission. That is my purpose. That's the sole purpose of me being here, is to help others heal. Also, for me to heal. But now I realize that I can continue to create other experiences for myself. I just simply say the words, Source. Now that I've had these experiences because I want to accomplish these goals, I want to experience something else. And you tell Source whatever that something else is. Now, what begins to happen is Source begins to start setting up a chain of events to lead you to what your end goal is. Because for Source, it's just simply about the experience. Whether negative or positive or neutral. But it's up to you. Once you have that conversation with Source and you tell Source that you want to co create this experience, be clear about something. Whatever it is that you're asking for, be clear that there's going to be some path that you're going to have to take. And there may be some challenges along the way for you to get from point A to point Z. And you have to be able to recognize when these tests are being brought forth to you, when these experiences are being brought forth to you. You have to be willing to accept whatever Source is bringing to you so you can climb the ladder to get to where you're trying to get to. Now, I make no promises that your journey is going to be easy, but I can tell you that whatever path you're trying to go down, Source is definitely going to set up those experiences for you in order for you to get the desired outcome. That's why we tell you, you got to be careful of the things you say out your mouth. You got to be real careful. You see, you're going in and out of realities on a regular basis based upon the words that you speak. If something is going well, if you say to Soros, I want to create an experience of nothing but just pure bliss and joy and peace. And let's just say you're in a chaotic state of mind because you hadn't healed yet. Well, Source is going to put some experiences in front of your face that's going to have to push you, it's going to push you in the direction to begin to start healing so you can get to that space. It doesn't just happen for you like that. You got to take the steps to get there. And I want you guys to be mindful of this. Come in. I'm doing a live. So I want you to be mindful that there isn't going to be anything simple and smooth unless you have already been on that path. And that's your desired goal to get there. Every experience that you take or that you have, I want you to think about your decision making. If your heart's not in it, then don't ask Source to co create with you in it. You have to be intentional about everything that you're doing out here in order for you to obtain what it is that you seek for yourself. So make sure you're very intentional and you're very present. Now, I'm giving y'all some game here because if you're really listening to what I'm saying, I'm literally giving you the key on how to actually begin to start creating the life that you want for yourself. You don't have to be in a state of sadness. You don't have to be in a state of fear. You don't have to be in a state of sickness. Stop claiming those things for yourself and be mindful of the words that you speak over yourself. Be mindful of the things that you say out of your mouth. Recognize the experiences or recognize when things are going on. You don't necessarily have to participate in an experience. Let me give an example. If someone projects onto you and is disrespectful, saying all these crazy things about you, you know for a fact ain't true. Now you're at a crossroads, right? You have the choice to either A, co-create with that person and begin to start having that experience with that person by going down that road and addressing that person, whether you're going to respond on a belligerent level, a higher level, or a lower level is totally up to you. But either way you look at it, it's going to be an experience for you. It's going to be something that you're going to learn from it. Or you can recognize and observe what's happening and not participate at all. Just simply observe. And when you simply observe and you recognize exactly what that is, boom, next thing you know, you're taking out that current timeline and you just jumped another timeline to get closer to your goal. Because that means you have mastered what it means to observe and not necessarily co-create in experiences that you don't want. See, a lot of times people feel like that they're coerced into doing things that they normally wouldn't do. But if you really take the time out and think about that, you just never realize that the fact that you had a choice to make a different turn or you had a choice, period. You just, for some reason, just didn't see it that way. But I want to say this one thing to every last one of you on this call tonight. Always remember that you have a choice. Always remember you have a choice about which path you're going to go down. You have a choice. Be realistic in what you want to co-create with Source on too. If you say, "Oh, I want to source, I want to co-create with you, and I want to make $1 million within the year." Okay, so let me give you a scenario here. Source says, "Okay, let me set it up for you." Um, Next thing you know, you're being placed in a position where maybe a couple doors open for you, but you didn't realize that in order for you to get to $1 million within a year, what all that would entail for you to get there. It all types of opportunities may present themselves to you, but the one thing that's constant is the work ethic to obtain to get that. Something that people never anticipate when they want things that others have, because you never take into account what that person had to go through to get there. That's never taken into account, ever. So, because you put the stipulation on yourself that you want to make that kind of money within a year, well, guess what? It's going to require you to lay down a lot of groundwork. You're going to be constantly working. You're not going to have a lot of time to sleep. The majority of your time is going to be spent on whatever project you're working on to get there. There's going to be a lot of sacrifices that you're going to have to make. And for some of you that are married, some of y'all are going to have to sacrifice your family members. And I don't mean like go out here and like do something to your family members. I'm talking about sacrifice in terms of your time. You won't necessarily have the time for that because you didn't give yourself a realistic expectation or a realistic goal and what it is that you want to co-create with Source about. I want you to think about the choices that you're currently making in your life right now. But start off with something a little bit more that you can handle. When you say to Source, I want to co create this. And then you go and watch for what's being presented to you so you can take the necessary stepping stones to get there. All of you have that inner magic wand. Most of you just didn't know you had it, and most of you didn't know you had access to it, and most of you didn't know how to actually use it. There's two ways you can look at a negative situation or a situation. Let's just say you're neutral and you're looking at a situation. You know that old saying that goes, you can look at the glass half empty or you can look at the glass half full? It's kind of like that. But if you're saying to Source, I want to experience the best timeline that you have to offer me for this timeline, the best experiences that you had to offer me for this timeline, I want to co create with you to get there. If you say that, your whole viewpoint and how you're seeing things is going to shift. Let me give an example. One of the things a source has always told me that every single thing that ever happens is orchestrated. I never want you guys to ever forget these words. Everything is orchestrated. Everything is orchestrated. Everything is orchestrated. Etch that in your mind and never forget those words. Now that we understand this and we know that everything is orchestrated, let me take it to another level. If you're saying the Source that I want to experience the highest timeline possible, and you view something that may look like an atrocity, well, how would you look at that? On the surface, it looks like an atrocity. You can look at it from that point of view and experience that from that point of view. You can have that experience if you want to. Or you could look at this as something totally different. Like for people, let's say who's getting ready to go to work in the morning and all of a sudden their engine don't start. You can look at this as, damn, I didn't really want to have this experience of not being able to get to work because I need to get to work so I can pay my bills and I don't want my job to fire me and all this other stuff that's going through your mind. You're entertaining worry. You're entertaining anxiety. You are literally co-creating with Source right then and there, and you're telling Source about this pre-experience that you never even had yet because you really don't know how that's going to go. But because you had a negative mindset about the situation, you started creating the worst case scenario in your mind. Now, what you've done is you've shifted your timeline or you shifted your reality. Now, because you spoke that negativity over yourself, now you're going to actually begin to manifest exactly what you spoke out of your mouth. Or here's another option. Well, damn, that was probably somebody saving my life right there. That's probably my guy saving my life, probably protecting me from something. Now you went into a whole different reality. Now, what you thought was going to happen with your job, no such thing happens because you recognized, or in your experience and your way of seeing things, said, I was being protected. Therefore, if you are walking in the energy of protection, that means you're not going to lose your job and you're not going to have all these negative experiences. Why? Because you chose to co create with Source and walk in the energy of protection. Do you see where I'm going with this, guys? Okay. It's hitting you, isn't it, Nitro Fade? You hit it's smacking your forehead, ain't it? It's hitting different. Your perspective about life is what's going to break you or make you. Period. How you view things is what's going to make you successful or not successful. Period. Come in. Stop knocking on the door and just walk in. I don't want to, just engage. Okay. All right. Full joy. All right. Bye bye. Sorry about that, guys. My kitties is coming up in here. Okay. So it's funny. I was watching Erin Lyons live she did with Black Magic 363. She had texted me and told me that she was going to do a live with him. And I told her I would go and check it out. And I did go check it out while she was live. And I really like her a lot because her perspectives about things and how she communicates with Source, I think is like the dopest shit ever. And she was having a conversation with him about um the thing that was going on over in Hawaii. And I felt her when she made the statements that she was making. And essentially, what I got from it was yes, those people are struggling and going through the things that they're going through. It's true. And it wasn't fair what happened to them. Here's one reality: laser dew weapons were utilized to come down and blow that whole thing up. That very well is probably true. We're not negating the fact that it isn't true. We understand that those things are true. We know this is what happened to them. However, there's a flip side to this. The flip side is because there's so many portals that were opening up around that area anyway, not to mention the big Stargate/portal that was there that they were trying to destroy, which they did not destroy. They didn't do anything. All they did was just burn a bunch of stuff down, burn a bunch of trees down, and cause casualties out there, and so forth and so on, because they really didn't stop anything. Uh, you could look at this like there's going to be a rebuilding, but it's not going to benefit those who were nefarious. More so like a rebuilding, maybe to bring Lemuria back in a different kind of way. Because now those portals are open. That means all kinds of beings and stuff like that can come through those portals. Now, what they tried to do is they tried to stop it, but it's not going to work. So you can look at it from the standpoint of this this has to be another rebuilding process that must take place. So it's even bigger and better than it was before. And it'll be more beneficial to the locals and the people there than it was before. But the old had to be torn down to make way for the new. It's about perspective. It's all about perspective because, again, let me remind you, everything is orchestrated. That means that everything happens for a reason. That's what that means. But Source orchestrates everything because it's based upon your own contract. And when I say contract, it's about the things you say out your mouth and how you're seeing things and how you're viewing things. You can experience the big bad devil. You can have that experience if that's what you choose, or you can experience something else. And based upon the decisions that you choose, that's the experience that you're going to embark upon. So, for those of you who always complain about your health, always talking about the negative things that's going on with your health, I want you to be mindful of something. You are co creating with Source about that. And every single time that you complain about your health and talk negative over yourself, you continue to co create with Source and you continue to create these negative experiences for yourself as it pertains to your health. Continuously. Some of you guys like to play the victimhood game. Well, guess what? You're a victim? Okay. You're co creating with Source from a victimhood state of mind. Next thing you know, every experience you have is about you being a victim. Because that's the state of mind that you're under. That's what you're choosing to entertain. Source is going to give you everything that you need to continue for you to have that experience of victimhood. And you will continue to have these experiences of victimhood until you decide that you're going to change the program. Women, if you say men ain't shit, men are dogs, guess what? You're going to continue to keep attracting that. Fellas, if every woman that you come out here that you speak to, she's a hoe, she's a bitch, she's this, she's that, and all that type of shit, guess what? That's all you're going to continue to attract is that. And you'll find yourself in this loop, in this time loop that you put yourself into. You put yourself there, nobody else put you there, you did. You want to blame somebody else for your decisions, but you can't. That's why I always keep saying to y'all, reflection, 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 reflection. And people get pissed off, but it's the truth. It's about your thinking. And some of y'all think entirely too much, and you're not tapped into your heart space and you're not feeling. So it's hard for you to tap into your creativity because you're not feeling. So now you're devoid of your heart space and you're in your masculine all the time and you keep creating the same experiences for yourself because you're not balancing your energies out. And then for some reason, some of you feel like that's everybody else's responsibility to make you happy or to give you what you didn't work for or whatever the hell. When the truth of the matter is you're responsible for self. Now, that being said, it don't mean Source won't meet you halfway on some stuff because Source has unconditional love for all beings, whether you're doing negative or whether you're doing positive. The goal here is for you to get to a space of unconditional love and get you in a space where you're co-creating from that point of view. When you begin to start co-creating with Source from the standpoint of unconditional love, the judgments is no longer there anymore. No one is judged. There's no one thinking I'm better than. Everybody actually ends up on the equal playing field. Unity consciousness. You no longer start to stop. You no longer start. You no longer look at people as your enemy anymore. You may not necessarily look at them as your friend, but you ain't gonna look at them as your enemy. You just understand that you gotta love them from a distance. That's it. But it doesn't mean you got to hate the person. It doesn't mean you have to be nasty to the person. It doesn't mean that you have to be disrespectful to the person. When you're operating in your heart space, those type of thoughts don't even come into the play. I find myself speaking less and less and listening more these days because it's what I'm choosing to co-create with, and I don't choose to co-create with people. A lot of people, I choose not to do that, especially if I see certain directions that they're going down. I'm like, I see you. I'm not going down that road because I don't wish to have that kind of experience that you're having right now. So you can have that experience by yourself. I'm over here on the beaches, overlooking the ocean. When I sit back and think about when our stuff went down 3 years ago, and how my mind was totally not even in this country at all. I was in Mexico. My mom was in Mexico. Then next thing you know, my body was in Mexico. And I'm traveling back and forth from the States to Mexico. And then I literally manifested what I wanted, which was to leave the United States and move to Mexico. Because I found the place that is peaceful and it gives me the peace of mind that I need in terms of my environment to allow me to create and co-create all the things I want to create for myself. So I made a conscious decision to take action and go in that direction. And it's been a blessing ever since. But yeah, I see people in the comments speaking as if they don't have the power to do the same thing for themselves or create their own paradise for themselves when you actually do. It all starts with what are you co creating with and who are you co creating with and what experiences do you want to have? And then you being able to be present enough to recognize when Source is opening up these doors or Source is doing certain things so you can have a certain experience. And Source will let you go down the rabbit hole as far as you want to go. That's the thing about Source. Because Source, it's about the experience for Source. So Source is going to let you go down that road if you want to. See, somewhere in your mind, for those of you who aren't healed, you have self destructive tendencies about yourself, or you self sabotage yourself. That comes from lack of healing. So let me say this, guys, people that are not healed are people that have not taken down a real path on their healing journey and they're operating in an unhealed state of mind. What do you think they're going to continue to co create with Source? They're not even consciously aware of that. This is what they're doing. This is all subconscious for them. They're co-creating these negative experiences and projecting those negative experiences onto others, which don't have nothing to do with you. And the moment that you recognize that person's in an unhealed state and you choose not to participate, but only observe, you don't have to engage if you choose not to. You can just simply observe what's happening. If you make a conscious decision that that's not what you're going to entertain, you're going to experience a shift. And you're going to be placed on a higher timeline of something that you don't mind entertaining. So I just want to drop them jewels on y'all. And I wanted to really drive it home for some of y'all because I read your comments in the chat. I see things that you talk about. I observe. I want to say shouts out to everybody that's gave me well wishes. Shouts out to people who blessed my cash app. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate you for that. Um, shouts out to everybody that's been helping me with this community. Shouts out to the members. I really do appreciate y'all. I am choosing to co-create with you guys as a community. And I want us to be supportive of one another. And that's exactly what we've been doing on this community. And I really appreciate and love y'all for that. That being said, I told you I was going to do 15 minutes, but I ended up doing 37 minutes, which is crazy. That was not part of the plan. But I wanted to drop that. Yes, I'm going to upload it to YouTube and then I'm going to post it here. And I'm also going to upload Esoteric Truths. Man, I think when I screen record, right, people be sending me messages and then I got to open it up and then the screen record is recording all of my business and the conversation and everything. That's the reason why I haven't been able to put up some of these videos because that's happening. And I don't know why people are texting me when I'm telling them I'm on the live. So anyway, that's part of the reason why you guys don't see certain things. So sorry about that. But I'm gonna get off here. I appreciate you. Peace and blessings. Please take these jewels and think about what I said, and let's start co-creating with one another so we all can experience the highest timeline together. Peace.